This presentation describes Baxter Laboratories' approach to managing confidential and personal information. Privacy and personal information. Privacy is Baxter Laboratories' ability to keep your personal information to ourselves and controlling what happens if we do share some of your information. Personal information is information that can be used to identify you, such as your name, address, phone numbers, tax file numbers, etc., as well as information you provided as part of your application to work at Baxter's, such as academic records. Some personal information may be sensitive in nature, such as information about your health, sexuality, religious beliefs, criminal records, professional or union memberships. Baxter Laboratories does not record any information regarding your sexuality, religious beliefs, or any criminal history. There is certain information that Baxter Laboratories is required to obtain and manage. This includes employees' personal and emergency contact details, information about terms and conditions of employment, wage or salary details, leave balances, records of hours worked, records of engagement, resignation or termination of employment, information about training, performance and conduct, taxation, banking or superannuation details, as well as union, professional or trade association membership information. There are also circumstances under which Baxter's is legally obliged to disclose personal information. You are entitled to obtain your employment records. If you ask your manager, copies will be made available. Fair Work inspectors can request personal information to check that Baxter Laboratories is compliant with the relative Fair Work laws. Permit holders, generally union officers, can request information if they believe workplace laws have been breached. Information will only be released if it is relevant to the investigation and is not protected by other laws. We will also release information if compelled by the police or court orders. The Australian Tax Office is also able to request personal information from Baxter's. Baxter Laboratories complies with the Australian privacy principles. More information on these principles can be found at the website of the Office of the Australian Information Commissioner. As part of these principles, Baxter Laboratories will provide guidance to employees to inform them of what personal information Baxter Laboratory collects, why that information is collected, who the information may be passed on to, how that information is accessed, and how to update the information and verify that it is correct. Baxter Laboratories regularly collects the following information: tax file numbers, superannuation account details, bank account details, leave records, records of hours worked, salaries, contact details, physical address only, medical information, training records, emergency contact details, passport and visa documents, and birth certificates. Other information may also be obtained for specific purposes. We collect personal information to assist in the following: the Finance Department correctly pays everyone and ensures that everyone has the legal right to work in Victoria, to ensure that there is accurate information to assist in responding to emergencies, to provide evidence to licensing bodies that Baxter's is compliant with the relevant requirements, and to assist with the competency and personal development of individuals. Any hard copies of financial information is is kept in individual files in the finance office. Certain data is entered into the payroll system for efficient calculation of salaries. The fingerprints used to sign in and sign out are securely stored in the TimeMinder software. Access is strictly limited to the finance department and relevant managers. Baxter's is also required to hold documents to confirm that individuals have the right to legally work in Australia and Victoria. Some information is held to assist Baxter Laboratories respond to emergencies. Medical information may be passed on to medical services in the event of a medical emergency, such as an employee collapsing at work. Training records, such as inductions, first aid and warden training records, are stored electronically on Baxter SharePoint site. Access is limited. The information is used to ensure individuals have the relevant information to respond appropriately in an emergency. Photos of responders and occupational health and safety representatives are also stored electronically with the training records, with the same restricted access. Personal contact details may also, with consent, be held by managers and supervisors for the purpose of communicating with their employees. Hard copies of operational training records are held with the operations manager. Electronic records are stored on the SharePoint site. These records are used to demonstrate competency and manage personal development, as well as demonstrating compliance with regulators such as the Therapeutic Goods Administration. So how does Baxter Laboratories maintain up-to-date information? In the first instance, the company relies on individuals to inform it of any changes. In some circumstances, Baxter's will request updates from employees. Individuals within Baxter's that have access to personal information are required to treat that information with the confidentiality it deserves. These employees must not disclose or use any part of any confidential information outside of the performance of their duties and in the interests of Baxter Laboratories. They must not authorize or be involved in the improper use or disclosure of confidential information during or after their employment without Baxter Laboratories' written consent other than as required by law. Breaches of this policy may result in dismissal and potential legal actions. Thank you for your attention. You must now answer the following questions to complete this training.